Hey guys, what's going on? This is XCaliber, and today we are here for the Designer Spotlight, and we have with us today Scarly. What's going on, Scarly? Scarly, you there?
Yep, sorry, dude.
There we go. What's going on, man? So yeah, today we're going to be looking at Scarly's basically his journey as far as building. Now a special little note too. I mean, this show was actually kind of formed based on something that Scarly kind of did a couple months back. Kind of the same concept, and it was really cool. It was something I was like, it was really interesting to see how he started to build and where he came from as a builder. And yeah, it just seemed like a great concept. So that's actually what birthed this show, which is pretty cool. So it's good to kind of for everybody to kind of see your journey and all the interesting crazy things you like to build. So
Yeah, well, you've got to be different.
yeah, that's what this game's all about. Everybody's got a different style. I don't think there's any game where you can have your own style. I mean, honestly, like even like Minecraft or any other building game, I just don't think there's that much room for personal style. I mean, you could do replicas and stuff in some games. You could do interesting subject matters, but everybody really has their own way of shaping and stuff, and it's pretty cool. All right, so about how long have you been building for?
Um, I feel like a youngster. I've only been playing since May this year.
Okay, right on.
I did buy the game um last year sometime, but being an arachnophobic, I came across this spider. Nope, that's it. Uninstalled it. Didn't play again until May.
Oh, I see, I see. So, um, Alpha 8? Is that Alpha 8 or is that Alpha 9? That's Alpha 9, isn't it? Wow. So,
I can't remember.
yeah, I want to say Alpha 9. So you don't know before weights and volumes.
Well, that's the thing. It's I couldn't tell you whether I was Alpha 8 or Alpha 9 because rates and volumes is turned off by default. Now, maybe
Oh,
was I just started playing the game, so I just kind of. So the first few games I had, I didn't have it installed.
gotcha.
The setting, I mean. So I had the whole of the Titan inside one dinky little ship.
Okay, okay. So your building kind of started what in survival or did it start in creative?
Yeah, a friend of mine was playing. He doesn't play anymore, unfortunately. But the way we usually do things is if one of us has already started the game, the other will do a few solo games first, get to grips with things, and then we'll go to co-op. So this fighter you've got here, this is my first ever build in the solo game. But yeah, it was pure survival.
Nice. So that's cool. I mean, because personally, I think when you build in survival, especially in a gameplay, like you're building for, well, survival, right? Like you're building for function. You're building to solve issues within that playthrough, which might be unique in another playthrough. So I always think when you actually build in your gameplay, it kind of births some interesting stuff because you're literally not you're dealing with resources that you have to get and everything. So you're not going all out. You're just building something that's gonna serve a purpose and solve a problem. So it's pretty cool what comes from that.
Yeah, I mean, I have had some interesting builds, shall we say, that you'll see a couple
Yeah,
of those today. But then it's the first build, isn't it? So nothing's perfect in survival and in your first run through.
right, right. So yeah, because you chose the weird cockpit that's not centered. Or well, that is
Yeah,
centered, but you know what I mean. Doesn't have a center block.
I actually find that one easier sometimes because I think that's the only run where it's kind of two blocks. All the rest are kind of odd blocks width wise. We could do with a few more even width cockpits, I think, personally.
Yeah, well, the only thing that I think people run into is the distribution of weight, center of mass, and stuff, because it's bit different, right? So it's, what's the center of mass, and then, how do you balance, some things to other things if you only have one thing? Like if you put a constructor on this, how would you place it? Because it's a 3 block, right? So there's going to be an extra block of weight on one of those sides regardless.
Oh, back then, it took me a long time to realise you could put a constructor on a ship.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, right on.
I mean, back when I did that one, I didn't even think you could have more than one RCS unit. So it
Oh,
turned.
so did you come from any other games like this, or?
No, no, not really. I haven't really done any building stuff at all. So this is kind of my first building space game, if you like.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
It doesn't handle very well at all.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's really not bad, actually. Flies good in Alpha 11.
Yeah, I haven't used it since that solo play.
Yeah, good stuff. So what did you do after this?
Ooh, it's the one you want after this is a chaotic salvage, and this was my first big SV in exactly the same game as this one, and I was trying to make it a cool looking ship, and it's slightly embarrassing, but it's more cringeworthy than anything else.
Slightly embarrassing. That's funny.
Oh well, it's your favourites coming up in two builds time, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's yeah. What can I say? I wanted to build a cool looking ship with all these funky. I was just playing around,
Mm-hmm.
learning what different shapes could do, and it didn't really work out very well.
I mean, it's definitely a collage of shaping. Definitely, it's like there's a lot of shapes going on here, which is cool because honestly, a lot of people aren't they're scared to use a lot of these shapes, like the curves and stuff. Like you see people stick to pretty rigid like lines and not really deviate. You just kind of took all the building blocks and threw them in the pot here on the first try.
Yeah, I mean, it's as something you said in one of your streams a while back. It's something you've said time and time again. Is at the time you'll build something and you think, "Oh, this is the bee's knees. This is good stuff. Fantastic." And
Mm-hmm.
then a couple of months later, you'll look back and, "Oh my god, that is one of those." At the time, I thought, "Cool,"
Yeah.
but I have to say, this is I was like 90% through this when I saw um, your YouTube channel. So it's from this point forwards, and this is I started in May and I built this uh, nearing the end of May. So in terms of time frame, but it's after this point I started watching your stuff, learning what other people were doing and so forth. So it's after this point you really begin to see the change in how I've done.
Oh, nice.
It's, as you can see, I never really finished it. It's yeah, I don't like it. It's got glowies though.
It does. It's got glowies. It's got interesting wings and got all kinds. It honestly reminds me of my one of my first builds. You've seen that before, right? The recluse that I was showing on a past stream. It just reminds me
Yeah,
of that. It's like because honestly, I felt the same way you're saying. I was like, man, this thing is freaking awesome, dude. I'm a genius. Like, look at this thing. Holy crap. And yeah, no. But that's it. It's a
yeah,
process. I mean, you have to start somewhere. You can't be afraid to just try to build something. And I think there's people
yeah.
that.
I mean, that build is even more embarrassing because I looked at it. If you look at the statistics and you notice the flight directions, you'll see something a bit odd.
Mm,
in one of their directions.
They got 185, 185, 555, 555. 9. Oh, nice. 9.
And then you've got 108 to the left.
Yeah.
I built it in the wrong direction.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you
That's
didn't
why
know
when
the
you
starter block. That arrow wasn't a good indicator for you.
no, I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue how to copy and paste something either. So it's
Oh, okay. That's funny. I've done that before. I think everybody's done that before. I don't think there's a builder that
well,
hasn't built the wrong way.
I learned after that, So
Because you start, right? Like you start away and then maybe you deviate and you go a different way and you forget that you can't do that. You forget that like everything's based on the starter block.
yeah, I mean, it's. I was thinking. We'll see later on, but the way I built this, not that I think it's particularly good, but the way I built this is somewhat similar to what I do now. I've just learned the blocks, the shapes, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean that there's blocks on here I've never used because I just yeah. So I mean, you know, this is what it is, but this was probably necessary. This was like now I know how all these shapes look. I know how they work. So yeah, there's something to be said for this. This, if anything, this is a good shaping exercise in your building. So
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. It's when it came to the back, I wanted something a lot more extravagant, but that's when I'd found your channel. Thought, no, well, I've done that much. I might as well just finish it. So I just kind of made it straight and went on to the next thing.
nice. All right, so what do we do next?
The next one is the EOS Wraith Mark One. Is an SV, and that one is when I learned the angled shape. So that's my first kind of, I call it my first proper build.
Ooh, wow. So that's a big difference.
Oh yeah,
So what
I mean,
happened? I mean, you kind of like bared down and said, you know what, let's just build something small and efficient. And...
this is just a week and a half after the chaotic salvage, and the difference, in all honesty, was your streams, watching like the designer monthly things, seeing how a few builders built, and it took me a long, long time to work out those angles. It took me a good couple of days.
Dude, that's really cool to hear that though, man. I mean, just seeing what other people are doing, and that's really cool, and that's what I hope is happening with the challenges. So obviously, I mean, it's proof here, man. That's freaking cool. Because I mean, you went from this to, I mean, this looks freaking awesome, dude. The way you got the front in here like this with the flats, it looks really cool. Kind of like different, kind of concave insets, and it just looks really cool, man. It's a good job, really good job.
I did a Mark II version of this, and with a shield and a warp drive, so it's exactly the same, but just a bit longer on the back, exactly the same style. And it turned into my top subscribed ship for ages until one of the later ones turned off came about.
Whoa, the turning on this is nuts. I guess because it's got an RCS.
Yeah, yeah. It's got three. I have actually updated this one, so it's got no RCS. I've changed the thrusters a bit, so there is another version, but I thought I'd give you the original one.
Wow, this thing kicks ass, man. Yeah, look at this. This thing's like, wow. You can't do this with most SVs anymore. This is cool. Yeah, I gotta build an SV again. This is.
Oh, you should. They're cool, but I am kind of biased.
Yeah.
I mean, I did do a Mark III as well, but that one I did more as a kind of, well, the Mark II did alright, so I'll just do a new version. Didn't do very well at all in the workshop, and I can't stand it. But this one is, I like this one a lot because this is kind of my first proper build. This is one kind of, yeah,
Yeah, no, this was your like, oh wow, I get it moment. Like, oh shit, I could do things.
Yeah, I mean, this one was a huge step forward, and if you just look back at the chaotic salvage a bit, I mean, the difference between the two is,
Yeah,
and we're just talking within a week and a half, something like that, in real time.
yeah. That's cool, man. What do we do after this?
Oh god, this is the embarrassing one, and it's the one which you've referred to as the fluffy cloud. We're looking for bubbles.
Nice.
I'm not looking forward to this one.
No, this is the one, man. This is it.
I mean, bubbles. This is the very next one, and it was done in survival. The Wraith was done in, and people say about embarrassing builds. You've seen nothing yet. I mean,
Dude, this is I don't give a shit what you say, dude. This is freaking awesome, man. Like this is like it looks like I'm. You know what? The new name for this is lamb chop, dude. This is like that little you know that little puppet. What's the little lamb puppet? What's her name? I forget. There's a show. Yeah.
if you turn it on fully.
Oh, it's not on. Holy shit! It's already...
No, it seems to be only half on. But, I don't ask me why.
Oh wow.
Try turning it off and on.
But see, in all its chaos, like it's very, yeah, the shaping is very, well done. It all comes together. Well, I mean, I can't see it right now. Let me turn it off. Hold on. There we go.
I mean, the idea with this one is I will start off the press of the ES Wraith. I went back to survival. I used the Wraith in the playthrough, but the thing is, it couldn't warp to another planet, so I needed one, so I built this. And the idea behind it was, I was thinking of roleplay value, and I was thinking of, well, I wanted something with a bit of camouflage, so I looked up at the sky, and it was just a blue sky, and I thought, well, why don't I build a cloud?
There you go. That's it.
I don't know why it came into my head, but
I can't even see it anymore. Can you see it? I don't even see it anymore.
What can you say?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. I don't even see it. Cloaking device. Look at this thing. No, that's hilarious, man. This thing. I wish you could texture the cockpit. If you could texture the cockpit, that'd be cool.
I mean, the same luminous white color, you mean?
Yeah. Because right now it just looks like a cockpit floating in the air. I don't even see the rest of the build.
Yeah, I don't know why. I sometimes get these really strange ideas, and they just stick in my mind. Yeah.
No, but look, your idea formed a working warp SV. That's what's so cool about this game is you could make a fluffy cloud, and this thing's completely functional. Like,
it did a job in survival. That's the thing. Is I had to upgrade it to hardened steel because it got pretty much almost destroyed in its first outing. So I think that version should be the hardened steel version. I think.
this is cool, man. Yeah, I love this one. You know I love this one already. This is.
It's a bit of fun. I mean.
Yeah. All right. So after this is like a hilarious timeline. You got this here, and then you went to this, and you're like, dude, I did it. I made a really kick-ass SV. Look at this little guy. Now I'm inspired to make a cloud.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything else.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right. What's next?
The next one is the Orpheus Delta, Mark 0.1. It's this one I started for your Doom challenge, which was a POI buster, I think SV or H.
Oh, okay.
I never finished it.
So yeah, a lot of shaping, a lot of inset shaping now.
I mean, it's this one is you have got another version as well, 0.7, Orpheus Delta Mark 0.7, but I don't know if you want to spawn that in because the whole of that one is what I've used for my master challenge, and it's also the version which I abandoned, and a certain person called NMK 111 picked it up, and oh my god, he he did a damn good a job on it.
Oh, nice.
But before NMK got it, that is what it looked like, you know. And I was working on that from, as I said, June when you announced what the challenge was going to be, all the way up to September.
Wow. A lot of detail here, a lot of shaping, a lot of wow. Yeah, just a lot of texture in here.
I'm not going to say anything about the insides because that might spoil the Master Challenge version, but you can see the amount of space a CV version might have. I mean,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
texturing on it, I don't happen to like at all. It's see, I had a big problem with thrusters at the time. That's what really killed it for me. I just couldn't get the thrusters right.
Yeah.
It's just got one or two, like.
Yeah, it's a lot of throws.
But I like the shape. You know, it's a lot of time. And if you notice, above the cockpit area, those angles, these come from the Wraith.
Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, very cool, man. I mean, just seeing the difference in the shaping between like this and the salvage here. You know, you definitely got patterns going. You're mixing up. You're not doing flat planes. You're already doing like insets and holes and stuff, and starting to figure out transitions and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean the 0.1 version is that takes you up to the end of June.
I mean, even this, like, this is a lot of shapes here. This is 4 blocks, each one of these little cone blocks that are going on that little connector pipe thing. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of
Oh, it took ages.
yeah. So I mean, you know what I mean? It's like there you're already in your head. You're already kind of painting with blocks. Like you're starting to figure things out. You're starting to go, okay, you know, how can I make this look interesting? And while you know probably some of the block transitions aren't there yet, just because you don't know how all the blocks work yet at this point, you're still, you know, you're doing things like this. You're figuring out stuff like that to where, you know, you're able to break up the flat planes and stuff, and that's really important in building. So.
I mean, the cones bit. There's a bit on the side of the chaotic salvage where I actually got that from. I think it's the only good thing I got out of the chaotic salvage was that cone attached to the pipe bit.
Yeah, so that's a good, yeah, so this is the first block, and then just basically you put those cones in there, yeah. Yeah, man, that's cool. And then just the overall shape of this is cool. I mean, you got the thruster modules here that are kind of like the, I guess, I wouldn't call them feet, but I mean, they're like the arms, you know, if anything. And then you got the wings over here, and yeah, man.
The CV version looks it works better as a CV, I think.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to see what I make of that.
Yeah, well, we'll see soon, man. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. All right, so what do we do after this?
We're looking for something called the Tempest Scout, and it's a CV.
So first CV?
I did do a CV in survival, but this is goes for the July challenge, your starter
Right.
CV/base one. And if you remember, that was when I did that
Mm-hmm.
certain hourglass thing. This is the
Yeah.
first version, but the hangar I deemed was a bit too small. So I built the Tempest, but this is the one nobody saw.
Yeah, see, I really like this one. How the size of it and everything.
Well, I only textured it because of You really, because on that video I did, which you saw, you said I should really finish it, so I did. But I didn't have to change any of the blocks, to be honest. It was just a pure texturing.
Yeah, no, I really like this, man. So you got your medical, you got your bed and everything here. You got your bridge. $145 on this side, 132 on this side, so you got plenty of storage. Where's the constructor?
It's just above the medical room.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see how you got up there. Okay. Shield, warp, yep.
It goes up one more floor from the hangar.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, dude, very cool. Just I like the big one that you put into the challenge. That thing was huge, and it's cool, but it's like I like smaller, more efficient stuff, and I really
Well,
like the color scheme
the
on
funny
this one.
thing is, I couldn't actually get what I wanted to do with both the Tempest and this one working. So, in one respect, the original conception, they're both failures. Because what I really wanted to do was I had envisaged like a co-op scenario where your hangar is at the bottom of the ship, so you like pull a lever and just like bombs away kind of thing. But I couldn't work out how to get that to work properly, so that's where the hangar went on the back. But I originally wanted a hangar on the bottom, and you just kind of lower the ship over the HV or something. That was the original concept.
I mean, so now that there's CV to CV docking, like I can only imagine like what are those little dolls that like they're it's a doll within a doll within a doll within a, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, those Russian doll things. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to make one of those.
Well, I mean, you can say that, but you can actually park this on top of the Tempest.
Wow, yeah. No, look at this.
It,
It's right on top of the saber here. This looks freaking cool.
I mean, I guess in one respect, if the Tempest is a bit too far out for you in terms of size, looks, what you call it, you can just go for this one. It's smaller.
Yeah, this is cool, man. You know what'd be even cool too is the way you have these diamonds or diamond is that a diamond triangle whatever the way you've got the two cones, right? You could even cut off one of those and that would be like a cool little like mini CV, like even like a miner or something. That would be cool if they like detached to where this was like a two build CV that basically like dock to each other, and like one would be like a miner, the other would be like storage or something. That would be cool.
Now you're just giving me ideas.
Could be cool, man. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, I just see it. I see this as like a really cool, like individual little
It could
CV right
work,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I might
that's
have to
cool.
look into that.
That's cool, man. Russian nesting dolls. Yeah, thanks, Paxton. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So after this, you did the bigger one, right? Which is the one we saw for the designers challenge.
Yeah, that's the one. We had a good field trip with you that day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny because wasn't that like didn't I have issues with the stream and like
Yeah.
you ended up seeing that build for like an hour or something.
That was my first entry as well.
Yeah.
I mean, again, is that was just I started in May, second week of May, I think, and that was in your July stream. So,
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what do we do next?
the Mangler HV.
Ah, so first HV?
Um, no, the Tempest was my first entry. The Mangler was my
Oh no, HV.
July. Oh, HV. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I remember this one.
I had done a few kind of. survival HVs like you do, but this was my first proper HV I tried to design. A bit like the Wraith was my first SV.
Yeah, I mean this thing blew my mind because it moved, it did everything. Like it was just completely
I didn't
freaking
think
different.
anyone would like it.
No, it's just, it's I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just the capabilities of this game is endless. What you can actually do, and it's just really limited by your own creativity. And this is a perfect example. Like never in a million years would I land on this style. It would never happen for me. And the fact that it exists is just really freaking cool.
It was a relatively um, quick thing to build. It just took 2 hours, I think, in total.
Wow.
It's the whole idea I had for it was um, it'd be nice to have an open-aired thing which the pilot was completely safe and couldn't get attacked from any angle.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the blocks you see shielding where the pilot is. That's how they got placed. There wasn't any kind of thought put into it. So, I need a block here. Done. That'll do.
It looks like a king crab, dude. Like this thing looks crazy. Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, really, it's just a platform to, just full assault on something and really be able to be protected. It's all the different angles and stuff you can go with this. It's really cool.
It gave me the confidence because of the perception it seemed to got in the stream. It gave me confidence that I can do kind of weird, wacky design things. So
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a sci-fi thing too, right? It's like, any other type of game, it'd probably be not as I don't want to say not as welcome, but not as received. But in sci-fi, I think sci-fi is such an open genre as far as creativity and imagination. It's like literally anything can be a vessel or a ship or a base. I mean, it can be alien, it can be, it's whatever. It just, your mind is completely open to receive anything as being capable of flight and stuff, and that's just what makes it really cool. So when you see stuff like this, it's really cool, man. It's like, wow, that you know what I mean? And it's totally believable. It's like, yeah, I see it. That's totally a vessel.
it's just nice to have something which just looks different.
Yeah.
It's some of the stuff I see on that people are doing. Oh my god, it's so fantastic. It's I get inspired a lot from a lot of the people in the community, and it kind of although there might not be any resemblance, um, everything I do really is kind of delves back to what I learned from watching you guys when I was trying to put the Wraith together, if that makes sense. So everything really stems from that.
Right. Big Feet saying he's never seen this texture. I'm going to show you that's the texture right there. It's the container extension texture.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is if you just run like the multi-tool over the whole build, it's virtually made out of containers.
Yeah, because this got a full 320, or sorry, 32,000 cargo extension system here.
Oh yeah, it's probably got over that actually, but I thought when I was building it, what the hell? I'll just continue with extensions.
Well, it's armor, right? I mean, every one of those blocks is full armor versus a regular block, which
Oh
is
yeah,
only, you know.
it was dead slow, but it's uh, when you did the stream, you got it bang on in terms of what it was meant for. It wasn't meant to be a fighter or a highly mobile kind of escape tank thing. It was meant as a mobile base to help you build up. So
Yeah.
the fact it couldn't move quickly for me was not an issue. I don't think it's going to survive the CPU thing, though. That's the problem.
Let's. Yeah, no, tier 4.
Yeah, but not as a starter.
No, no, yeah, no. Sorry, no. You can make a small one. Make
It's
make a
like,
micro one.
uh,
Just give it like 3 walls or something. You see this little part right here? Just cut that out and make that a thing. That'd actually be kind of cool if you did. You see how you got this here and this here? If you did 2 more and then just gave it like a cockpit and some stuff, yeah, that could be like a tiny little platform. That would be kind of cool.
yeah, I think a smaller version could be done with it. There's no reason why it couldn't, you know.
Yeah, or even just the front part. You could probably get away with just the front part being its own thing. That could be cool.
In all honesty, with that mess of blocks, you could probably put the pilot seat anywhere and just carve it up. It'd be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. All right. So what do we do after this?
The next is a CV, and we're jumping forward in time to around September, and it's the Kavak Tok Rec T3. This is where the wackiness really starts.
Oh, really? It hasn't started yet. Nice.
This is where kind of
Which one though? Sorry, the Kavak Hex Stage 1 or?
no, the Kavak Tok Rec.
Got it. T3.
That's the one, yeah. This is where my build names got a bit weird as well.
Right on.
That's the one.
This is like a miner, a drill ship.
Yeah, this came about when the Anvil season 2, I think. I was at the stage in the game I wanted to have a miner, so I kind of came up with that. I had a miner HV, the Kavak Tok, so that's where the name came from, the Kavak Tok Rec.
Okay. A lot of cargo.
So the little landing pad there is holds the HV. It's been updated to T3 compliance. So if you take the turrets off and the drills, you end up with kind of the version that is on the original version.
I'm stuck. I don't know why this is here. It's unlock level 25. Why you got a clone chamber in here?
Why not?
Yeah, indeed. I guess. Fair enough. I mean, you don't have both, so I guess.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually put this on the workshop yet. The workshop one is only level 10, and it's only level 25 because of the drills. If you take the drills off, it's yeah, so
Gotcha.
slight oversight.
All right. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's just you're not giving the medical capabilities, but
yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the full rack of facilities you would normally expect because, in my eyes, it's a miner. It's not meant to do anything else other than help you mine stuff. So, in terms of, it doesn't have the full medical suites. It does have a space for 9 grow plots, but it's a miner. You're not.
yeah.
You know, that's how I've kind of.
No, but that's cool, and that's actually really the mindset you got to have in Alpha 11 anyway. So you're ahead of the game because I'm the opposite. I want to put everything in everything, and I gotta have everything, But no, it's actually smart because it's just kind of impossible to do that now. Well, I don't think impossible, but it's very, 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 very hard. So I like it, man. I like the shape of it. I like the. You still got some pretty insane lines going in a good way though. Like they all kind of flow. Like they're really because of the coloring and stuff and the texturing.
The way I'm building stuff at the moment with this Kavak series I've got, I just enjoy it because I never quite know what the shape is going to end up as. It just kind of builds itself as it goes along.
So how do you do it? Do you do the whole first, or do you like?
The tank that is coming up, not this one, the build after that. I can show you better. But if you go towards the back end where the uh, uh, where the HV would go, I did the HV landing bay first,
Okay.
just to make sure I got that to size weight. After that, I did the bits I've coloured yellow, and everything else is formed around the yellow stuff, if that makes sense. So that yellow is my frame.
Wow. Cause yeah, no, like I saw in, I think it was Work in Progress channel. You put like something, I don't know, it's just a bunch of random shapes like in these weird lines, and you're like, I think I got this going, and then Sig was like, yeah, it looks great. Like sarcastically, and I'm like, what? I don't understand, but it's like, wow, that's literally how you frame, and then you kind of fill in, with contrasting shapes. That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, essentially, it's as I said, um, it's not as easy to see on this one because it's a bit strange. But um, if you spawn in the next one, which is the what's it called?
Which is what?
If you spawn in the Kavak Tak Vec, which is an SV, you see the frame much more easily.
Ah.
And again, if you look at the yellow stuff on it, it's the yellow is the frame, and then everything else is built up. So I've got this mental picture as to kind of, but I haven't really worked out exactly what the shape is going to be. I just kind of let the angles go where they take me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else just kind of fits in. And kind of, yeah, okay, well that angle is nice. It's the other thing I like doing is I like the idea that not all the blocks kind of go to each other smoothly, if that makes sense. I like the way
Mm-hmm.
that some kind of are a bit jagged.
Now, have you ever seen a builder called Fractalite?
I haven't known.
He has a yeah, you guys kind of share a similar style in that way. Like he builds things very yeah, like different shapes, a lot of like really interesting kind of spiky shapes and stuff, but it looks really really cool. You should check him out.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's I really enjoyed doing it like this. Is because, as I said, I don't have the original frame of this one, so I'd have to take the ship apart in order to do it. But with
Mhm.
every next build, I've actually got the original frame. So if I try to do like um, the next build again from scratch, I'll probably end up something completely different. It just depends what you know, the state of mind at the time and what I fancy doing.
Right. Yeah, I mean all your builds fly, man. They all maneuver good. They all work really well. So there's a certain quality here.
I mean, that SVs for me is I just love to fly SVs around, so I'm constantly flying them around when I'm building them. Uh, because an SV and other stuff, it's got to be fun to use. Now, okay, the Mangler wasn't really particularly quick, but then it performed its function. If I'm building a ship or an HV, which is I may get into combat, well, I'm going to want to move it around, have some fun with it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. I like the texturing too. I like how you got the kind of the gray aluminum foil kind of look with the whiter kind of more I don't know what you would call that. I guess like pebble stone or something kind of look. I mean, it just looks cool. Like contrasting, it looks really cool.
It's got a constructor. It's got about 8k cargo, and I think it's around 6k ammo cargo. So it's I feel in one respect it's the kind of thing which Elion didn't want, because as soon as they boosted the tier 4 from I think 45,000 to 100,000, this one I didn't have to make any changes at all.
Yeah.
But it's got everything you need really.
Awesome. So what do we do after this?
This is a HV, and it's a Kavak Nectar. And this is a run I've given you, I think, 3 stage runs as well. So if you want to see how these are put together.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's see.
Yep, that's it. That's the start. That's how all of my Kavak stuff starts off as.
So how I mean, you know, in order for you to save things like this, like you must, you know, you don't take back things, you don't find yourself scrapping and rebuilding. Like you seem pretty thorough in like how you kind of build here. You're like, you know, okay, I'm happy with this, I'm happy with this, I'm happy with that.
Well, I don't know. I just started doing it with that one. I liked to see the um, the progression.
That's nuts,
Okay.
dude. I could never build like this. Like this is crazy. This is really cool though. Like I see it. Like, and this is a really cool look at HV. I mean, this looks really freaking cool, man.
Yeah, you've got the final version as well.
Oh yeah, so give me that. I've only got up to stage 3. I got 0 through 3. Oh, is it just the one that's not staged? I got you.
Yeah, yeah. It's just called the Kavak Nectar, so it hasn't got any stage stuff.
Oh, that's cool, man.
That's one. That's my highest number of subs at 70 odd. That one actually had 2 dislikes more than it had any before it even had any likes.
Nice. Means you're getting noticed, sir. Good stuff, man. This is really cool.
That's the version which is updated to T4 as well. So that one's fully updated to our feeling.
Wow, it moves crazy too. That's side thrust.
That was it wasn't my first combat tank, but my first combat tank again was in one of those early playthroughs, and it just looked like one block fest. But this was the only other proper HV I'd done before this was a Mangler. So in doing this one, I spawned in, I think, your Kabar, is it? Or a couple of your tanks.
Yeah, I've got like
And,
30 K bars, so you'd have to be more specific.
yeah, I thought I think I got your Alpha 9 one. I thought I got your latest one, and I think I didn't in the
Oh,
end.
okay.
So
Yeah.
you got so many tanks, dude.
Yeah, I like my tanks.
Yeah, big feet, strange progression. It's kind of that's me all over.
The slowest barrel roll ever.
Yeah, it used
Yeah.
to do barrel rolls like anything, but
No, it's just HVs in general. Because an HV isn't wide, you know, you're not gonna. And then plus, you don't have up and down thrust. You do. Well, you don't have down thrust, right? So there's no way to really do that to really make that better. I don't know. Can you put a hover engine upside down? I don't think you can, right? So.
I don't know. I've never tried.
And you can put thrusters up and down. I don't think they actually do anything though when you do that. That's worth a try.
HV, a thruster going up and down does help you go up and down, but it
Does
won't
it?
lift you off the ground. Yeah, I tried it on my my miner, trying to get a miner to dip properly. It kind of worked, kind of, but not properly. If that makes sense. It would take a better mind than mine, I'm afraid, to work out if that's feasible.
I don't think I have nearly enough to make a difference here.
Plus, you'll be going over the CPU thing as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes it barrel roll faster. Look at that. Oh shit. I just found the cheat code, guys. Oh, dude, yeah. Alright. Cool. Yeah. We're putting up and downs on our HVs. There's the cheat code, guys. We did it.
Unless you figure out how to actually put it into a proper build.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go revisit some of my stuff. That's cool. Yeah, that'll fix a lot of the issues with the up and down thrust and stuff with the RCS, you know. Now you could take out RCSs, just put some thrusters in there and kind of fix that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, this that is very RCS heavy. That one, I think it's got around 70 or so.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a huge chunk.
Well, you gotta have RCS in an HV. I mean, and you know, you really do. But now I don't know. Maybe just up and down thrust will replace some of that. That's cool though. I really like how you've this is I wish I had this for everybody's designer spotlight just to show how they build. Like I don't know if you've ever seen Jay Randall build, you know, from beginning. Well, obviously he's got the YouTube channel now, right? But I was always in awe when he would put screenshots out of his CVs and it's like, okay, I started a CV and I'm like, this looks weird. What the hell is this? And it's just like this whole frame of the entire CV, just the bottom block. And I'm like, what the like that's how you build? That's so weird.
I mean, it would be curious to kind of give like the first stage of that one out, put it in the community channel just to see what someone else would come up with. Because if I tried to do the end result again, I couldn't. I would end up with something else.
Yeah, totally.
But it works, you know. At least for me, it's
Oh, it's yeah, that's cool, man. Oh, T Rex is already thinking, man. Thinking. I like it. Yeah, we're gonna be barrel rolling again. All right, so what do we do after this?
The next is back to an SV, and it's one I did for 10.6 experimental. It's called the Kavak TAC. It's meant as a T1 starter SV, basically.
Ah,
It does have space to upgrade as well, if you want. Originally, I did build it to have a shield in mind, but if you try to put a shield in, it's kind of too heavy and the thrusters go to hell. But
this
it's
is warp or non-warp?
you can put. No, it works.
It's
It's got
no
no.
warp.
Oh no
Okay,
warp. No.
okay. Yeah, so it's like a little moon traveler.
Yeah, or just something to as a starter SV with a warp capable CV or something. You know, it's got
Right.
about four. It's got about 4K storage. Um, whether it can, I'm not that great at testing how much they can hold. So
Yeah, well, the best thing to do is elevator blocks. That's what we found was the best average weight for what it is based on POI salvage and stuff.
I mean, something I have been doing. I've been trying to make the Kavak series all kind of fit in terms of CVs and everything else.
Kind of, yeah, just like a style. Yeah, definitely. Ah, it all goes together. How come all of your builds work with the CPU thing? Did you update a lot? Many of mine are pretty broken. Well, I think really Scarly kind of started right in the mix of that, right? Like he started really building specific stuff right around the time CPU was kind of starting.
I mean, there are some which like the Quadronix, my PvP builds, that's like 260 odd CPU, and that's never going. That's dead as a dodo. That's legacy. I've got the DX1 prototype, which was another PvP build. That one's also dead. So I do have. You're just not seeing him here. That's all.
Yeah.
I do have dead ones, but like I've got the Viper as well, the Trisaran Viper. Um, but I can't show everything here.
So what do we got next after this here?
This next one is called the Strati TX1. It's an SV, and this one was actually um, inspired by the straight thin blocks T-Rex uses and what I saw on his designer spotlight. So
Oh wow.
immediately after that, I came out and built that. Um, I did aim to have a lot of straight kind of thin blocks, um, but it kind of, in typical style, it didn't really turn out to have a lot of that stuff. It's not textured. Um,
It looks badass, dude. Like I love how you use the deco blocks here. This is really cool.
I mean, it's not a Kavak style ship, but you can see kind of the influences, if you like. You can see how the styles are kind of mixed. It's swap capable, and on the right hand side, I think, facing the front, there's a space for a shield. So it could be upgraded to T3. It doesn't have much cargo. It didn't have much storage, but that's what the bottom and the straight bits on the sides are. And it's quite nippy. If you turn on, it's got a full thrust mode. It's nippy as hell.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't even full thrust mode? Oh
Oh
shit.
no, 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 no.
Alright.
It's it's meant as I haven't built other HVs or SVs to dock to it, but it's meant as your kind of lifting ship, if that makes sense. So that's why it didn't have much cargo.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has any RCS. I think it's RCS free.
Oh wow.
I think so. I'm not sure. But
Yeah, no
yeah,
RCS, yeah.
that was purely inspired by T-Rex's straight blocks that he uses. Um, then that's how a lot of people just see something. It doesn't have to be much, and it might not even be recognizable to the final build, if you like. But I will see something which does, yeah, I like that, and I'll just go and do something.
Yeah, that's cool. How you did that is really interesting. Like that shape there and yeah, dude, there's some cool stuff here.
I know the starting of the whole thing was that shaped that's those thin blocks and those, I don't know what you call them, those things in the middle, um, the thin blocks and those deco blocks. That's the start of
Mm,
it. Then everything else again, I've just kind of built around it.
right. Oh, very cool, man. And just the like, especially from this angle, the overall shape is freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm just a bit stuck on the texturing, but I do happen to like it right. I think so. Part of me thinks, well, just leave it right, perhaps, or I'm not sure. It's a work in progress, shall we say? I want to build some other stuff to make it a set. I just haven't got there yet.
There you go. Did it for you, buddy. No, I mean, like honestly, like they don't all have to always have, like a lot of texture and stuff. I mean, this kind of the texturing's in the blocks.
Yeah, I mean it's yellow. I'm not sure J Randall or T Rex, and they could probably make that look really badass with texturing, but I just haven't got that skill.
Yeah, no, it's cool though, man. Like I really like the shaping of it's really cool. And it's like the stance of it too is really cool. The way it goes off in the middle like that. Like it's good stuff, dude. All right, so what do we got going after this? We're getting close to like present time here.
Yeah, I mean, this is that one was again in experimental for Alpha 11 10.6. So this is present. This next one is the Kavak Heck. It's a CV. It's not out yet, but I think it's complete. And I finished it, I think, last week.
So there's a stage 1 and then there's the regular one. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, it's a Kavak, so all the stages. Because I didn't think we'd be out of time, but I thought if you wanted to see how it started, well, that stage one is how it started.
Yeah, just that's like the way you do that is crazy. It definitely reminds me of Fractalite though. Like it's interesting. Yeah.
The tank one, it's done exactly the same way. That's the frame. I didn't want a hanger. I wanted kind of. So I've used the tank and the big SV sort as kind of measurements, if you like, and then did the frame, and
Wow.
eventually after a few stages got that's the one.
Yeah, dude. It's even like I'm not, when I'm comparing to other people, I'm just saying, just kind of like I see similar, veins. Like even Super Killing, like this reminds me of like Super Killing too in a way. Like it's just some really cool shit. The texturing is what's really interesting though, because like, you could have all these shapes kind of together, and I for myself can look at it and kind of make my own lines, but like the fact that you're giving these different colors and textures, you're drawing the lines for us, and then we're like, because I don't think I would choose these lines if I was to look at it bare, but it sells it to be even more chaotic when you do these lines, which is cool, which is what I'm saying. It just adds to it. It makes it look even more chaotic. Like it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's I do think that I do some odd stuff. So the kind of things I do is probably people either like it or they don't.
Nah, but I mean, you're owning it, which is cool. I mean, it's your style, so it's there's a.
I struggled a bit. I struggled a bit with the insides. It looks better at night. Otherwise, the orange stuff looks a bit too bright.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's great.
I've started. I'm a big fan, I think, of CVs just staying in space. So that's kind of where I'm going at the moment, building kind of CVs that comes out at night, stays in space. Then you've got SVs to kind of drop HVs.
Right. Yeah, no, at night this thing pops. Look at this.
Quick tip as well: when you remember my master challenge, spawn it in space.
Okay, will do. Yeah, wow. Very cool. Very a lot of character in here, definitely. Not symmetrical at all.
Yeah, I mean, I do struggle with. I'm more comfortable doing shaping than I am the inside, so I see that part of my building still very. There's a lot of room for improvement.
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying that, I prefer this. I almost wish I could unlearn the whole symmetry obsession. Like, I can't do this. I have a real problem doing this, and I'm gonna try to do it in the Saber. But this looks cool to me because it looks so, mechanical and literal. Like it looks like all these things are actually doing stuff. These pipes, these RCS, these little deco blocks. They all look like they're doing something to make this ship move. The internal like walls and stuff, they all look like they're holding back like internal piping, and then you've got busy engineering stuff in here. Even if I didn't know what these things were, like I know this is a warp drive, but if I was new to the game and didn't know what that was, I'd be like, wow, there's some really cool stuff going on in here, and what's this for, and what's, you know what I mean? It looks like a spaceship. It looks like some crazy, working thing. It doesn't look, like dry and um what's the word I'm looking for? Sanitary, and you know what I mean? It just doesn't, yeah, it looks complex in a really cool way. So I mean, you can argue
Uh,
colors, you can argue textures, but the shaping of it is what's giving me that RP value.
yeah, I'm guessing there with shaping. Um, I think doing the Orpheus Epsilon, which is my master challenge, and there was another one which we haven't seen called the Cyclone. That I can't stand the outside, but I've had these couple of builds where doing the insides has given me confidence that okay, I might be able to do interiors.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, I would, if I was you, I'd look at, we did Bullet Magnet's designer spotlight. Well, you've
Oh
seen it,
yeah,
and he has a similar kind of way he does interior and stuff, and it's very non-symmetrical, and he's got all these little crannies and little rooms, and little like pathways and stuff, and it's actually very literal to how, like, me being ex-Navy and stuff, I'm used to, naval ships
it's
walking
I
through
did
little corridors and stuff.
that one to kind of in one respect replace the Tempest Scout because the Tempest Scout has been like my starter CV. So
Hmm.
that one kind of I aim that's what I built that one to be like my new starter ship.
Okay, so this is the
The,
one that you would be using in your gameplay.
yeah, it's kind of the Kavak stuff I've done recently. Those are the ones I tend to use. I do have a couple of others I might use depending on the circumstances, how well I'm doing in game. But these are the ones I aim to use personally.
So do you have anything else here? Was this it?
Um, no, there's one more, and
Okay.
this is it's not finished, um, but it's the Kavak Beck Ta, and again, it's a CV, and it's one I'm currently working on at the moment. So
So what's the function of this?
the idea of I'm trying to keep it to T1, and I aim it to be kind of a T1 non-warpable CV that you can upgrade to T2 with a shield and so forth. So it kind of that's your first one, but it
Okay.
ends up being like a cargo, a pure cargo thing. So
So it'll have the warp eventually. You just have to upgrade it and stuff.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's kind of you can see there's three straight bits on the top. That's where you would kind of put your SVs,
That's
your
cool.
HVs, parking
Yeah.
there. So kind of this is a ship you'd bring down to put all your drink or your loot in, kind of thing.
That's cool. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. It's small too. I like how small it is.
It's about the same size as the last one, really. It's slightly longer.
Hmm.
Um, I the screenshot you referenced earlier. I hope to get this one to plant kind of onto the other one.
Okay.
If some that weird screenshot I posted.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. It's gonna be good. So, fairly new to the game. How do you feel about CPU? Is it giving you an interesting challenge? Is it deterring you from doing things you want to do? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm fairly relaxed about it. I mean, it's rates and volumes that came in, and whether it came in whilst I was playing or not immaterial, it's the first few games I played didn't have that setting on. and it
Mm.
just felt to me, well, I couldn't really understand all the issue people had about it because it didn't make sense. That's why would you have kind of the entire contents of the front, back, and mid of Titan, the parts into one small single container? It didn't make
Right,
sense.
right.
So the CPU, it didn't really bother me. If anything, it's just a puzzle to solve. And if you don't want CPU, you just turn it off. It's
Yeah,
the
there you
flight
go.
controller, the positioning of the thrusters. That's what's taken me a bit more time to get the hang of.
Yeah, and I think that's yeah, and honestly, it was kind of funny how all the shock and awe was the CPU, and yeah, I think the flight controller system was the real thing that changed. That changed a lot. Like that, the way things move now. HVs being my favorite type of build. I mean, the way that's changed now has completely changed how I do builds. So I mean, that's been the real cause and effect, not the CPU. I mean, the CPU basically puts a ceiling on some really big builds, but other than that, I don't think it really changes too much.
I do feel if they had have gone for the say the CV to CV docking, the SV to HV docking, if they announced that or if they had that in the game before they did CPU, it might not have been quite so bad. Um, but that would be the case, and I don't know because we can't tell. But that's the feeling I've had is you can kind of see how they wanted to go. It just felt like
Hmm.
it was the wrong way round in terms of how they implemented it.
Oh, I see. So more specific building, they kind of should have started with the the long picture. Like, hey, we're gonna do this to where you can have all these docking capabilities. So now you can make individualized ships, and here's the limiter to doing that. That's what you mean. That's kind of
Yeah,
did the other way. I
yeah,
gotcha.
I think that would have been a better way to present it. That would have made a bit more sense in terms of how they meant. But you would still need the ability to switch CPU off if you don't want to use it. I think that was a given.
Definitely. Awesome. So I mean, what do you see yourself doing in the near future here? Just kind of continuing on with this series, or are you looking at doing a different series, or
Um, yeah, I mean, I do enjoy doing the Kavak stuff, but I'm in two minds about it. I've done a fair few now. It'd be nice to do something else, but the way I build those, I really enjoy.
right?
So, do you get what I mean? It's kind of okay. I've been there, I've done that. I want to do something else, but at the same time, I enjoy building them the way I do.
So, okay, so you're saying that the method at which you start the build kind of dictates this style? Is that what you mean? Like you can't
Oh
find
yeah.
yourself doing different style from that same method?
Well, I mean, the way again the Kavak Vector, again that yellow is the frame,
Right.
and if I tried doing that again, I would end up with something completely different. And that's what I like about it. If I tried to do exactly the same thing from the same build, I
Right.
wouldn't have the same ship. And that's, I think, what I like about it. But having said that, I have done stuff like the Strati TX1, which you can kind of see there's a bit of influence. So I do
Mhm.
like. I guess what I'm saying is I don't really know. I'm kind of breathing myself
No, I'm
through
with you.
building.
I'm with you. I just, from what I see today, right? I mean, you go from all the way from the salvager here, and well, we could even just start, with this right here, right? You got this that you built in survival, and then you went here, and then you went to this little guy right here, and then you went to the cloud, and then you went to the crazy pyramid hourglass thing, and then you know what I mean. So I mean, and then you did this, and just polar opposite, not even opposite, just completely different styles of building, and then now you've landed on this series which is taking on a very similar vein, um which is great, and I think definitely there's room to polish within this style, but I think what's great about you is that you have the capability of jumping from style to style, so I wouldn't want you to lose that, I guess is what I'm saying.
I
um
think I did do kind of the. the Quadronix, and then there was another one as well,
Mm-hmm.
the ES Spectre, and those were kind of sleek, polished chips, a bit like the ES Wraith, nice and sleek and straight stuff.
Right.
It'd be nice to find a way to merge the two styles. So that's something I have thought about. Quite how I do that, I don't know, because every single time there's another SV I've kind of started, and
Mm-hmm.
I did think I'll do the more conventional one, and it's turned into a Kavak one.
Because I mean that's the thing. You can start off the same framework, just choose different shape patterns. I guess would be the way to do it. Maybe just
Yeah, I
go
mean,
for circles or
if
go for something.
yeah, if you go back to the Kavak Nectar stage one, the very first one, it's I could probably pick that one and kind of do a proper nice sleek thing where there's no jagged edges and so forth. It's
Mm-hmm.
more than feasible. That's something else I have thought of doing because it's just a frame, I can build upon that.
Right, right. No, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. You got some. I mean, I love this thing. I love this little CV. I love the cloud, of course. The lamb chap. I mean, you got a lot of cool stuff, man. I just, it's exciting to see somebody that's able to jump different styles and stuff like this. Like, it's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to what you do in the future here.
It'll be interesting, and it'll probably be one of those you either like it or don't things.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's everybody.
Oh yeah.
Cool, man. So any last thoughts?
Um, Only for thank you for having me here. It's and again to you and to everybody else. It's I've been building since May, and a lot of what you see is just inspired and what I've learned from just watching other people's stuff, seeing what people produce and so forth. I can't stress that enough. There's no way I could do something like the Kavak Nectar without having watching everybody else.
Yeah, it's re-inspiring if that makes sense. I mean, it's like it solidifies the importance of builders coming together and sharing their stuff, and obviously the workshop isn't the correct medium. It's not set up that way. So, I really enjoy doing the challenges and enjoy seeing everybody kind of put what they do together. So I just think, continued participation, and there's no drop off in participation. It's almost been a year now, and we've got just as many entries as we always have. We've got 8-9 new entries, first time entries this month alone. I mean, it's really cool, and it's really a lot of fun, and I love that everybody's getting something out of it. I mean, this is hundreds and hundreds of hours of work in front of you guys. I mean, and this is all directly inspired by a lot of you guys that are watching today. So that's really cool, man. And yeah.
Yeah, it's like crazy. You just said I keep seeing loads of triangles. It's the thing is, Bubbles had kind of. I've got a mental block when it comes to nice curvy things because I took one look at Bubbles, the lamb chop, and thought, "Oh my god, that's awful." Scarly, don't use curved blocks.
Oh, dude, that's a winner right there. That's your best build. You're never gonna top that. That thing's amazing.
I'm never going to build a more embarrassing build, that's for sure.
That thing is cool, man. Like it's got a cloaking device on it. I don't even see it right now. It's not even there. It's, there's
Wish I
just
could say
there's a hole in the deck right now. I don't know what that is.
I wish I could say you couldn't make it up, but I literally did. That's the embarrassing thing about it. It's just kind of.
Nah, that thing's cool, man. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time to show us your workshop and how you've kind of progressed from not playing too long. I mean, really inspiring, man. Like you've done a lot of really good work in a short amount of time. So, if you guys want to support Scarly, definitely check out his workshop. Give him some thumbs up and stuff, and kind of see a lot of the stuff that he's got here, and just look out for future builds.
Yep. Cheers, dude.
Yep. I will catch you guys later. We're gonna go ahead and do a raid here, so stay tuned. And yeah, see you guys next week on the Designer Spotlight. Take care, everybody.
Oh, neat.